And welcome back to the forum here at the Global Entrepreneurship Initiative inside the United Nations headquarters. And I'm very excited for our next speaker because she has an adventurous spirit that can be seen in everything that she does, from a 30-year career with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police as an emergency dispatcher to creating programs to help first responders and those who have suffered a trauma to move forward. She created Family Connect to bring people and resources together and hosts an internet radio show to share that knowledge to those who are unable to travel to learn from her guests. Her motto is, "Life is a team sport, and when we all work together, miracles happen." Please welcome to the Global Entrepreneurship Initiative stage, Janet Wiszowaty.
Thank you, Greg. It's an honor to be here today, a journey that no one ever would have imagined for me. I was a high school dropout at 17, married at 18, 2 children at 21, and people would have thought a recipe for disaster. But in 2011, I was attending an event and was asked to introduce myself and say one thing that I wanted to do. And I said I wanted to speak in the UN. Believe in your dreams, believe in your visions, expect it to happen. There was all kinds of things, and against all odds, I made it. A year after my husband and I were married, he was accepted into the elite Canadian police force, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Now, I don't know whether any of you have seen a picture of a Canadian Mountie, but they're pretty impressive. The high brown boots, the red serge, and the Stetson. And women would get hot flashes when they looked at my husband. So much so that after one of our transfers, my husband received a package in the mail. As he opened the package, there was a letter inside. And I sat on the couch and he sat on the armchair. And he started reading the letter. And as he read the letter, he would hand a page to me. As I read it, I started to cry. You see, this woman wanted to have an affair with my husband. She didn't care that he was married or had a family. And she was willing to travel to wherever he was to have that affair. Now, to my husband's credit, he sent a letter back and says, "No thanks, not interested." But inside that package was a beautifully hand-carved silver watch band bracelet made by a Haida. And the Haida are famous for their carvings. The return mail had a bill for $500 in it. She didn't like his answer. He sent the bracelet back. Not long after that, I got a phone call from one of the wives and said, "Janet, I heard Les is having an affair." And I thought, well, this has happened before. We'll just go with it. But then I got a second phone call from another wife saying, "Janet, I heard Les is having an affair." So I'm very proud of what I did next, because everything could have ended differently. I got a babysitter, I got my hair done, and I went and met him for lunch. And after everyone had left the table, I turned to him and said, "So, are you having an affair?" And his mouth literally dropped to the floor. Not a word. Not a word. He just looked at me. I usually forget to tell people that it wasn't true. It was a rumor. But things could have happened very differently, and we do that every day in our lives. We made choices and decisions that create our environment. I could have packed up the kids and left. I could have waited till there was an argument somewhere along the line and thrown it in his face. I'm very proud of what I did. I was 25 years old, very little self-esteem, but I got up that courage to go and ask him. And today, we will be celebrating 45 years of marriage. But then we threw something a little extra into that pot. I joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, not as a uniformed member, but as an emergency police dispatcher. I was considered a telecoms operator. And if you've ever called 911 or an emergency line, they'll say police, fire, or ambulance. They say police, it's someone like me that you'll get. And I stay on that call with you and try and keep things calm so we can get the help you need. Little did I know, 20 years later, that that would cause a lot of problems for us. It took a serious car accident where a car crossing 4 lanes of traffic hit the front of our car, knocking us in the ditch. Put me off work for a year, but within 6 months after that accident, in 2002, I found myself in the living room crying in the dark, wishing I had died in that car accident. I didn't have any life-threatening injuries. I had injuries you couldn't see. I had pulled all my abdominal muscles, and for the busy, active person that I was, I couldn't do anything. Mentally, I was not fit to work. I couldn't handle an emergency. Someone would talk about a call, and I would just burst into tears. That night, I call the night the mask cracked. All my emotions that I had suppressed in order to do my job and be there for the people who called started to coming up. One of the memories, was one of a police officer I was very close to who committed suicide. The other was of a young child, about 7 years old, who called in the middle of the night asking for us to come and help her mother, who was being beat up by a boyfriend. That little girl might have been the same age as my granddaughter. She may have even been in the same classroom. And when she was in the class the next day and the teacher started yelling at her because she wasn't paying attention, it wasn't because she wasn't interested. It was because she was still back in that bedroom listening to her mother's screams. These kinds of emotions I had to keep down, but that night they wouldn't stay down. And I knew I needed help. I was referred to a psychologist, and believe me, please, please listen to your instincts. She was not worth it. She didn't know who I was. She didn't understand what was going on. And I found another one. I was active in my own search to find one that I could trust and feel comfortable with. She changed my life. She gave me tools that I use to this day to help my clients. One of the tools that she gave me was the one when she said, "You don't need to work with me anymore." And I'm going, now what? Now what do I do? Now where do I go? Who am I? That was the start of my journey to work on myself, to find out who was I? How could I keep going forward? It's easy to stop when your support is gone. It's even better to find new support. As a high school dropout and young kids, I never thought that I would go to university. But thanks to one person who had faith in me, I did. That helped me in my journey after that psychologist said, "I don't need to see you anymore," because I started searching for more help. What people may have thought I would become was not what the universe had in store for me. It gave me challenge after challenge and made me the person I am today. One that beat the odds and to help help others because of my journey. There are people waiting for your greatness. I can help you find it. I have 3 takeaways for you today. 1, you and only you have the power to change your life circumstances. I never dreamed I would be living the life I am today. With the help and trust of others, it happened. I've traveled the world. I've studied all over the world. You need to surround yourself with coaches, mentors, and champions, people that believe in you, and learn to ask for help. My life shifted when I took control of who I surrounded myself with. I fired the first psychologist I had and found a great one that inspired me and helped me on my healing journey and my healing of my diagnosis of PTSD. Now I trust myself and work with those that want to help and grow and serve more. Last but not least, you have to want a different outcome. I've had several life-threatening injuries and health challenges. One that taught me the biggest lesson was early on in my life. When I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I had a choice to make: stay where I was and possibly end up in a wheelchair. People would take care of me and I would survive. Or I could seek alternate ways of healing and take responsibility for my health, not relying on others to take care of me. When I asked myself what I wanted to be or where I wanted to be in my 50s, 60s, and 70s, it was traveling, cruising, volunteering, and making a difference. That is when my life changed. The PTSD, the post-traumatic stress that I was diagnosed with for the job that I did, was not my story anymore. It did not define me. I wouldn't have let it define me. So I found those to help me overcome it. If you've ever seen a 2-year-old crying and having a temper tantrum, and you put on their favorite music and they switch just like that, and they're laughing and dancing, we have that power. We just need help to remember that we have that power. Our life is full of choices. Our reaction to a situation creates the outcome. I chose to ask my husband about the rumor of an affair, and the outcome is that we are still together 45 years later. I chose to seek after my car accident and found that I was suffering with PTSD, which then gave me another choice, the choice to move forward and find teachers, champions, coaches, and peers to help me overcome the stigma that I was permanently damaged. Would I change the challenges I have experienced? No, because they have made me who I am today. And through my challenges and experience, I am able to share those tools with others. I have acquired so many because of wonderful people that were there for me. Now I get to watch my clients grow and share their talents. One of my greatest gifts was when a client called me and said that she would not be where she was today if she had not met and worked with me. It's the greatest honor to be able to watch somebody grow and help them take that step. I believe life is a team sport, and when we all work together, miracles do happen. Thank you, everyone. It was a great honor.